Welcome everyone to round 2 of February 26th, Star Wars Unlimited night over at Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking for a place to play some Star Wars Unlimited, check out Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. Thursday nights, 6 p.m., $5 entry. And for round number 2, we got myself once again on Thrawn Double Yellow, Thrawn Spark Yellow against Maul LOF Force Blue. I believe this player on the left side playing the Maul actually is playing it post-rotation. So all the cards in here are post-rotated cards. So they're practicing up, getting ready for post-rotation for Maul LOF Force Blue. So discussing really quick about the Maul. The Maul is just Force Unit Turbo. You play a bunch of Force units, you utilize the Force, you utilize Maul's ping ability, burn the Force to ping 1 damage onto a unit, and then basically that's just it, using a lot of the Night Sister stuff, Karis, Night Sister, Assassin, Thousands Assassin, use all those cards, and you're just running Shatterpoint, all of that, to just basically control your opponent's board state. And we've already discussed Thrawn Spark Yellow in round number 1. It's just control with some good fun control strategy stuff. So without further ado, let's jump into game number 1 and see if I can continue winning. All right, here we go, folks. Maul is going to start off. It's going to start off with a Acolyte, with a Trey's Acolyte, and I'm going to go for the Aura Sing here. Again, Trey's Acolyte is a 2/4 here, and I'm going to go for the Aura Sing with the Raid at 2 attached to it. So 2 damage, creating the Force there. The Force token is the one under the Beskar token here. So I'm going to do look in the top cards of our deck, because I just keep forgetting. Again, this is my first time playing this leader, so do have to forgive me for not knowing that leader 100%. I had to check the top cards. Anyways, my opponent's going to go for no disintegration to deal damage up to the opponent up to 1 less health, so your unit always survives on 1 health point. We're going to go from 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐘 to hit the Trey's Acolyte with 3 damage points on it, and I'm going to play out the Aura Sing here, just dodging past the ability, because what my opponent was wanting to do there was then trigger the Maul ability, burning the Force to then kill the Aura Sing here. Unfortunately, thanks to no disintegration, would have done that completely, but thanks to 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐘, I was able to bypass that easily. My opponent's going to swing 2. They already have the Force. You can't make more than just the Force once, so they still have the Force active because they weren't able to use it. So just kind of figuring out what we want to do here. We're going to go for Trey's Acolyte to get the -4, Thousands Assassin to give the -4 to a unit. So actually no, I think it's -3. So anyways, we're going to go for the play of both Greedo and Boba Fett here. So it's interesting. So I guess, yeah, no, I think the 1000 does -3. I thought it did -4, but the Assassin's only wasn't able to kill the Aura Sing here. That's why I killed it, because I thought it was a -4. Instead, it's a -3. So that's why I didn't really swing in with, I already swung with Aura as well. So that's why Aura Sing didn't immediately die there. My opponent's kind of figuring out what they want to do. We're just going to trade out the Acolyte into Greedo. I'm just kind of deciding. I know what the top card of my deck is because of Thrawn, so I'm just kind of deciding no on the trigger. Again, Greedo can pitch the top card of your deck. If it's a non-unit, you can then deal 2 damage to a ground unit. Unfortunately, the top card of my deck was not that. So anyways, going to go Shatterpoint, burning the Force to immediately kill off the Boba Fett there, and then we're going to go deal another 3 damage from Aura Sing here. Again, the one way to deal with a Force base, any Force leader, especially going into this meta, is you just got to choke them out of the Force. Immediately kill off their Force units, dealing pressure like that. But anyways, Maul's going to flip. Maul does the exact same thing on his backside as he does on his front side, being able to swing for the swing and then do the ping damage here. So anyways, we're going to go for a Surprise Strike, dealing the 6 damage necessary to kill Maul, because he's only a 5/6. We're going to go for the Anakin trigger. I'm going to play out Thrawn himself, and that's our 3/9 booty, and then figure out what we want to do here. Anyways, I'm going to then just check. We're going to go for Hotshot Blaster. Hotshot Blaster, I know people will have now been very much happy that it's moved out of the format altogether. We're going to deal 5 damage to my opponent's base. There's no point in looking at the top card of my opponent's deck and then doing anything with it, because there's no point at all. And again, my opponent doesn't have the Force either, because the Maul didn't get to swing. So my opponent's just going to be able to take the initiative there, and we're just going to pass on to the next round here. Just kind of thinking on what I want to do next. I'm going to go put the 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐘 away into my resources here, because again, there's no underworld units at all on this board state here. I don't know why I'm not unresting. So we're going to put a 𝐻𝐿 under the Thrawn here. Again, 𝐻𝐿, my opponent shows a blue-black card, or blue and black, and then I get -6 to my attack, meaning this Thrawn can't swing and do anything at all. Meaning this 𝐻𝐿 is just very bad, because I don't have any way to get rid of upgrades on my side of the board. absolutely no way to get rid of a grade. So we're just going to go for a waylaying back the Anakin there so that if they want to play it again, they have to. Then we're going to go for Atreus Acolyte, and then I'm just kind of deciding on what I want to do. I'm just going to swing to see if they have the cards in the hand, and they do. They have a brother, a son, and the Anakin there, which again, remember, they have to constantly keep at least one blue card in their hand to constantly be able to ensure that they have the ability. They put the Dark Tyrannus into their resources there because they don't have the force to burn the Dark Tyrannus effect here. So anyways, the Atreus Acolyte will be able to get the force here. 2 damage to the base. The force has been generated now. I'm just kind of thinking, what do we want to do? We're going to go for the Bodhi Rock. Again, I can discard anything that's not a non-unit card from their hand. So I'm going to get rid of the Sun Ferocity there. We do see the Devastator is in there as well. Devastator to deal 4 indirect damage to the AT Hauler. And then I'm going to be able to go and trying to decide it. I do have the extra blaster as well that I can utilize. So anyways, I'm going to go 4 damage, and then I'm going to go for a Surprise Strike here, paying up. We're going to go for 7 damage onto the base here with that, and then I'm going to decide what to do. So we're going to ping the Bodhi Rock. My opponent does get to grab the AT Hauler for their own right, for whatever they want. So my opponent is going to use their action to grab the AT Hauler and play for free, and I just claim the initiative here and then passed on that one. So we're just kind of figuring out what we want to do here. This one is very tight, by the way, just because 𝐒𝐑 is just a hard card to get off my body. Anyways, just kind of figuring out what we want to do now and all that. So we're going to take a look at both the top card of the decks, because I do get the trigger off of course, the Thrawn if he decides to swing. No matter what he does, if he does decide to go for the swing effect here, I do have the ability to, of course, rest something on my opponent's games. So on my opponent's board state here, we are just deciding on what I want to do here. Again, I have an Aura Sing and a Surprise Strike in my hand right now. So I'm kind of just calculating it in my head. Figuring out exactly, can I win this game here, especially with the Thrawn. My opponent is at 21 to his 20 health base. So it is very close here. So it's extremely close here to figuring out exactly how I can actually win it. But I am going to be able, I will spoil it for you. I do get the win here, but it is taking a little longer than I would have thought. So anyways, I'm going to go for another blaster here, being able to spin that, put that on the Bodhi Rock. I'm going to be able to swing for the 5 damage here and then be able to put my opponent up to where I can basically win it, because I'm going to actually be able to bypass the condemn trigger here thanks to the use of good old. So anyways, we're going to go for the Anakin to kill off the Bodhi Rock here. Because my opponent is more or less not concerned about giving -3 to the Thrawn, because Thrawn's already getting -6. Where anyways, we're going to go for Surprise Strike. Surprise Strike is going to give me an extra +3, which means I can bypass the condemn trigger and then get the win. So that's how I got it. The fact is that I was able to claim initiative, go for the Bodhi Rock, swing there, and then get it. And again, the Anakin swinging, giving -3 to the Thrawn doesn't really matter here. In this perspective, if they had gotten the -3, I would have not been able to win this game the way, and then I would have had to. I could have potentially rested something, but there's nothing I could have swung, potentially rest something. But again, them not giving the -3 here and instead going for the Bodhi Rock was actually pretty nice there, giving me the win, because the Acolyte could have potentially swung in, but that would have been a trade there. But yeah, nonetheless, that got me the win, but was it close to get the win. All right, let's move on to game number 2. Here we go, folks. Game number 2. Let's get started. My opponent is going to go first here. They're going to go for the Karis, and I'm going to go for 𝐒𝐍𝐿. I'm immediately going to be able to get rid of the condemn there. My opponent is going to get to draw 1 card from their deck. Again, we didn't look at the top cards of our deck here because, again, there's nothing I was going to utilize Thrawn on turn 1 for. Nothing comes in active on turn 1 in Thrawn. So anyways, we're both going to look at the top cards of our deck. We're going to have the Karis swing in 2 damage to the base, and then we're going to be able to generate the force there. Again, Karis has his own skill death. And then we're going to take a look at the hand again, and we're going to be able to get rid of another card there. From the Bodhi Rock. Again, Bodhi Rock can discard any card that's on unit. So, and lucky enough, my opponent does get the draw there from that one. So just playing out the Bodhi Rock for all of that. And then basically my opponent now gets their trigger. They're going to go for the Marin. The Marin discards 1 card and deal 1, and then you can deal 2 damage to a unit, on a ground unit on the board state here, which is pretty nice, again, in a deck strategy where Maul wants you to be able to deal enough damage where you can do all the pings, everything. So I have to kind of figure out what we want to do here. Taking a look top card of each of the decks. And we're going to go Marin. We're going to discard No Disintegration to deal 2 damage to the Bodhi Rock here. And then we're going to deal 2 damage to the Marin, dealing back 1 damage back for the Marin. Marin went after, of course, 𝐒𝐍𝐿 here. Again, now the Maul does get its trigger because, again, does have the force. So we're just going to swing the 3. We're going to kind of decide what we want to do here. I'm just kind of thinking what I actually want to do here. I know the Maul is going to kill both both Bodhi and can kill 𝐒𝐍𝐿 here, thanks to its effect on its on it, burning the force here. So again, I'm just kind of thinking out what exactly my next play is here, if what I want to do here. Deciding that we're just going to go for the swing for 3 damage. Then, yep, we are going to then do the effect of Maul, burn the force to deal 1 damage, melee moving off. We're going to go for Thrawn to melee kill off the Karis, and then melee Karis can't trigger its effect because, again, that's nothing. And then we're going to melee be use Shadow Point, but Shadow Point's secondary ability to kill a unit with 3 or less remaining health points on it. So that got rid of the Thrawn as well. So not exactly all that great of a full-on turn there, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, it wasn't too bad overall. Anyways, we're going to be able to play the 5 for the 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐒 here, immediately putting that down to the board state, which is pretty nice here. Marin's going to then swing in, gaining the force, no pitch from that. And I'm immediately just going to have to claim the initiative here. And then we're going to go for the Acolyte to immediately be able to, again, on attack, gain the force if you don't have the force. Kind of deciding what I want to do. I'm going to put down the stolen AT hauler. Again, my opponent doesn't really have much of a space threat, but again, I really don't need the stolen AT hauler getting stolen by my opponent and dealing with me. So we do know what the top card is here, so we are able to utilize the 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐒 effect if need be. I do, of course, have the 𝐂𝐏 Bane as well, and then this turn we do have the flip of good old Thrawn onto the battlefield as well. So we're going to then swing on my opponent. I'm going to state the name top card of their deck, and then I'm going to be able to name it correctly. It does discard there, so immediately we don't get to see what it was, but nonetheless, I do get it correct. That means will be 8 damage coming out my opponent's base here, putting them up to 11. I do have the Hotshot Blaster. There may have been a chance maybe I should have Hotshot Blastered the 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐒 there to give a little more damage, to put 10 there instead of that. I think I also saw I had the Surprise Strike in hand. I should have maybe put Surprise Strike the 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐒 to do more damage. There could have been a potential couple of things I could have done to be a little more aggressive on this game. So we're going to have the Acolyte go and kill deal 2 damage to the 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐒 here. Then we're going to be able to go for the Mist Hunter in space here. We're going to go for the effect of Maul to ping, and then we're going to trigger the effect of Thrawn. I'm going to reveal the top card of my deck, and then just rest down the Mare, and I'm going to just keep the flip of my top card of my deck here, and then we're going to go flip for Thrawn, and then we're going to have Maul attack into the base here, and then we're going to do ping, and ping 1 on the Mist Hunter, ping 1 on to Thrawn here, getting back the force, of course, and then I'm going to decide on what I want to do here. We're going to go for the Hotshot Blaster onto the Thrawn, putting away the top card of my deck, and then we're going to go for the Thrawn. There's no reason to look at anyone's top card here, because again, I could technically look at it because again, it's effect, and then we're going to go for Dark Tyrannus, ambushing him because as long as I have the force, and then burning the shield token there, and then I'm just going to claim the initiative so that my 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐒 is now dead on the battlefield. My opponent just does not want to take all that damage from the 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐒's trigger coming down here. So I do have a couple of things I can do here. I do have 𝐂𝐏 Bane, as well as I do have some abilities here. We're going to take a look at the top cards of our deck here. We're going to figure out, I do have the 𝐂𝐏 Bane this turn. I can grab both the Dark Tyrannus and the Marin, because I can grab up to people with health of 7 or less. We are going to, I'm just counting it out to make sure I have all 7. We are going to go drop the 𝐂𝐏 Bane. I am going to steal both the Marin and the Dooku here and capture them both under the 𝐂𝐏 Bane. Unfortunately, my opponent does have the Shadow Point, immediately being able to kill the 𝐂𝐏 Bane here, but that does rest both of them on the battlefield, so meaning I don't have to worry about them at all. Anyway, the Mist Hunter is going to swing. I did play a Bounty Hunter that turn with 𝐂𝐏 Bane, so I do get to draw 1. We're going to ping and ping with Maul's attack here, and then I'm going to be able to then swing in 5 more damage, and then there's no point of resting anything on the board stay here. From, of course, the Thrawn, and my opponent is going to be able to take the initiative here, putting up to 25, but again, the Mist Hunter, they did take the initiative here, but they're just going to scoop that one up there. I mean, I show that I had both I had a Waylay, I had the Surprise Strike, I had Cunning, so I have ways to easily deal with this board state, and fortunately my opponent would have to throw something into Thrawn to kill it. Because the Maul would have to be the first thing to swing to kill off the Mist Hunter, because the Mist Hunter can technically kill from here, because this is 25. This 3 damage more wins it. So the Maul would have to swing first, and that wouldn't have been enough to kill off Thrawn in this case, because the 5 damage even into Thrawn, and then ping 1, so that would have put me at 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. I still would have had 1 health point left on me, but the Mist Hunter would have died. So I do get the win overall, but I want your thoughts, guys, down on the comments on the decks. What do you guys think with Maul, LOF Blue going into the Lawless Time meta? Let me know all that down in the comments, as well as you guys have tried out Thrawn WL anytime or are going to try him out potentially for some fun in the Eternal format. And while you guys are commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you're notified when my videos go live for you. And we'll see you here next time on Modern Dragons TCG.